Yes, mate. French has fun. What's up guys, it's Will from EDM Tips. Today I'm going to show you how to make French house or filtered house in the style of Daft Punk, Modjo and other French house artists. We're going to go through every stage of the production process, including choosing the right samples, augmenting it with your own samples, mixing, a bit of mastering and arrangement too. So sometimes this genre is called filtered house or funky house, but it was pioneered by the French producers in the 90s and the early 2000s, and that is why most of the time nowadays it's just referred to as French house. I'm going to be using Ableton Live 10, but you can follow along in any DAW because these techniques still apply, and you can download the Ableton project completely free with all the samples and whatnot below by clicking the link below this video. We will be selecting an old disco sample to use. We will be creating the beats to go behind it. We're going to write our own chords. And we're going to get a vocal hook that works really, really well over the top as well. Do they work? Yes, they work. Right. If you learn a lot from this video and you want more in-depth coaching from me, do click the link to check out my 8-week EDM production masterclass below this video as well. We've helped our masterclass students get signed to their favourite record labels, make money from their music, and in some instances even make a full-time living from it. So if you do want fast results with your music production, do check it out. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more music production tips more often. So without further ado, let's hop into the DAW and get it done. Okay, let's do it. One take video, no cuts, no edits. So first thing I'm going to do is select the correct tempo. I'd say probably about 120 for this style of house music. And the next most important thing to do is name this bad boy. So let's name it. What should we call it? Let's call it French as f***. I've saved it into the wrong place. Whatever, I don't care. Next thing we need to do is pick the disco sample that we're going to use to base this track on. Now this is the most important part. Now what you can do to do that is you can either dig into your old collection or just do a Google search for best disco tracks, things like that, or best disco funk. That would get you something good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a track by Chic, which I absolutely love, one of my favorite tracks of all time in any genre. Let's see, it is called, you'd think I know the name, wouldn't you? It's called Your Love. Why is it not here? Oh yeah, I Want Your Love, that's why. So let's drag that into Ableton. We're going to warp it to match the tempo, and we're going to choose the best part of this sample to loop. Let's take the volume down so we don't clip. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is double click, go in there and pick the first proper transient, not the intro. Okay, there we go. So let's hit that. And before I get flagged up for copyright reasons, I'm not going to play any more of that track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warp it. Let's see. I'm going to warp it like that. And I'm going to take it down 2 semitones just to make it a bit different. And it also puts this track in the key of A minor natural, which, as you regular viewers know, I love because it's just really easy to work in. So let's warp this to be the correct tempo. What we can do is right click there, go warp here, warp from here, and it's going to warp it pretty much. Such a tune. Okay, so it drifts out slightly, so we're going to tweak that warp. What we're going to do is consolidate this. No, we won't consolidate it first. Now I can see from these transients here that this sample is just kind of drifting off the grid. So the easiest way to fix it is to hold shift and then drag across on that last beat. Not hold shift at all. What are you talking about? Just click and drag. And now you can see it's lined up the beats to be pretty much on the grid. Now we don't want to make it too perfectly to the grid because then we'll lose that kind of, you know, organic feel of a real band playing, and we want that. That's really important. Best comment I heard from this tune on YouTube was, "Satan's called, he wants his bass line back." Fair play. Right, so we're now going to chop this up and make it into a little house loopy kind of groove just by I'm going to take this bit. I like that first bit. We're just going to loop this. Yeah, that's pretty cool there. So we can just loop this bit and it completely changes the tune, but it's still got that vibe. And we're going to give it that really big pumping sound as well. Yes. Okay, so let's get processing on this. I've got my magic list here, which people often ask me what's on it. Spells, magic stuff. Before we do any processing, I'm going to just throw a kick in there super quick. So let's go to kicks, samples, there we go, drum hits. And we want a kind of warm sounding kick that's not too, yeah, that's kind of got a bit of a real feel to it. You could pick pretty much any kick that's gonna not be a really hardcore one, but it's important to kind of make sure it's going to work with your samples. Let's take the volume down so we don't get clipping. You can hear it works really well with the snare that's in the sample, because it's like a real sounding kick. French as f, baby. Okay, let's stop swearing, Will. This is a... Everyone knows how polite people are on the internet. And why do you have to go and lower the tone, son? Jesus. Right. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of compression to this first, just to make it pop a bit more. So that's where it was. In fact, before the compression, I'm going to add some grit to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Redux, what's it called? An Ableton Live, which is a bit crusher. Just gives it a slightly gritty feel, like a lo-fi feel. Okay, now we are going to add a flanger on that. No, we'll use a phaser actually. So now check this out. This is going to give us that swirly, filtery house feel. Kind of like Jacques Leconte, aka Stuart Price, another one of the best producers ever. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to duplicate this like this. We'll group it, Command G, and what I'm going to do is have one of these chains is going to have a phaser on it and the other one is not. And the reason is, one of them we want for our bass, just the bass line. So let's put an EQ on that bass one and let's just filter out the top. So we don't really want that being phased. You can hear that filtered feeling already. Yeah, we'll keep it on that. And then this top one, we can take out the low end, the phased one. So we're just phasing the higher frequencies. So together, we've still got the bass line nice and central. Okay, let's get this pumping. So I've got my sidechain trigger track here, which has just got a little tick sample that's really short and sharp, and we're going to use that to trigger the sidechain compression on this kind of funky loop. So let's put a compressor on there, sidechain, input from the sidechain compressor, up, ratio up, threshold down, attack really quick, and then let's get it pumping. And with the kick, so this is before. So now we're getting that French feeling. And now what we are going to do is we're going to get some drums on the go. Now I'm going to use a loop for this, again, to add some grit, a bit of atmosphere to it, rather than using my own kind of program drums, although we will be doing that a bit too to augment it. So let's kind of find a drum loop which has got some shuffle to it. Yeah, one of those will do. That's quite cool. It's got the bongos in there as well, so let's bring that in, turn it down a bit. I'm just going to loop the first part of it though, again to give it that kind of looped feeling. Nice, and let's augment that with a clap that we're going to program in. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to add some of that pump to the drum loop as well, to get it kind of popping a lot more. And so much of this genre is about the processing. So we can just have it pumping a bit, so we can still hear the snare just. And let's add our own snare to augment it and make it sound a bit bigger. Drum hit, snare. Perfect, it's a clap and a snare together. That was quick. And then let's just put one on every other kick. Nice. Sounds pretty good. Speed it up a bit, because I'm feeling French as fuck, baby. Okay, next thing we are going to do is, we could just run that whole loop actually. I mean, it would still sound cool, wouldn't it? Oh, that's it. Yeah, so you can see it's easy to kind of experiment, chop up the loop. We could even have it change just at the end of the whole phrase. Yeah, now I'm feeling that even more. So we got those two different like bits. Now I want to make this loop sound even bigger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of reverb to the top chain, this one here. And I'm going to, yeah, add some more effects to this. But I might put the reverb before the phaser, so the reverb's phased as well. But that's making it quieter, so I'm going to put on a utility after the reverb just to bump up the volume a bit. A/B test. And I'm going to boost this a bit. So that's our loop. Right, next thing we want to do is get some vocals on the go. I'm going to use Loop Cloud for this, and actually Loop Cloud would be a great tool to use for this kind of looped music anyway. So what I'll do, first I'm going to colour this stuff Let's call this disco loop. I'm going to colour this blue because, you know, I like blue. It's a nice colour, isn't it? And that's as good a reason as any, apart from the bass, obviously, which has to be the natural colour of bass, aka yellow. So we're not going to use the bass loop because we've got it all kind of with this one. So let's call this kick, colour it green, and there we go, just to stay organised. And this track here is we're going to select some vocals for it. And what I'm going to do is load on Loop Cloud, which you can get below this video. I think there's a free trial on it. And if you use like my link, then I'll get an affiliate payment as well, which is nice because it helps me keep the channel going. And yeah, what I'm going to do is find a sample for the vocals. And let's see, vocals or vocal. Let's choose instrument. We could use female vocals. That works really well for this kind of music as well, but I'm going to go down the Stardust music sounds better for you route, and I'm going to go with a male vocal. So let's see what we got going on. I don't know what that was. Right, A minor, because that's the key that our track is in. And let us have a little hunt. I'm going to extend the length of the sample to make sure that we've only got vocals, like not just single shots. Although you could choose loops there as well, but I haven't. I've done this. So now let's preview some. So it's kind of just like a matter of looking through and finding them. Okay, so let's see. We have got this. Oh no, we haven't actually. Yeah, we did. We took it down too, didn't we? Let me just check what key this is in. I'm going to do that with an operator, just a simple thing. Okay, we didn't. I'm going to take this down a couple of semitones. Okay, I'm going to have to work out what key this is in now. So the way I'm going to do that is, I thought I knew. I'm going to do it by ear. Okay, it seems to be in G minor. So yeah, I just worked that out by playing along whilst listening to the tune. So if we up this by 2 semitones, actually, this will now put this, because if we look here, that's G. If we put that up 2 semitones, that's going to be an A minor natural, and that's easy because it's just using the white note, so you can't really go wrong because you don't have to worry about hitting the sharps and things like that. So let's just grab all of these and put them up 2 semitones. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, let's get those vocals. A minor. A minor vocals. No, mate. Calm yourself.
Give me a seam, and I'll find my walk through the wilderness. Don't know
and we
how
can
long we've been.
Preview.
Don't know how long we've been out there. And these nights are a tough ache. Let the music last. What's in? We're rising up.
So that's cool. something that people can hear, like the vocals do. I'm having that too though. Okay, I've gone a bit off piece. Let's just whack that in there as well. Keep it nice and low in the mix as a background. Find another vocal.
Control, lose control, lose control, lose control.
Okay, store A minor. Let's go loops, and then we'll make sure we can have a full vocal on the go. A minor.
You are all fucked up.
Move your body, move your body.
More time. Take your time. Cool.
Oh wait, that.
She wanted.
Yes. Yes. I'm having you, son. So we're going to drag that in. And just pick a nice part of that that resonates, you know, that you could have a hook for a track for. So make sure it's warped to 100 and whatever BPM, 174 BPM by the look of it. So we'll take warp off, press it again, make sure we've got the correct tempo switched in, turn it to Complex Pro.
Louder than.
Okay, because it's such a fast track, we're gonna kind of make this
Louder than your soul.
I just pressed this half or divided by 2, which means it's now classed as, yeah, double the speed.
Louder than your soul. We flow and grow beyond control. Unknown, we grow into our own. Louder than your soul. We flow and grow beyond.
Okay, we're going to have Louder Than Your Soul, and we're going to loop it, and then on the last one we're going to have We Flow.
Louder than your soul. Louder than your.
Except we want it to be singing right at the right point, so we're going to drag this start clip along.
Louder than your soul. Louder than your soul. Louder than your soul. We louder than and
No, I don't like it. Okay, we are going to find another vocal. It's important to spend the time finding the right vocals, guys, so that's why I've done that. Okay, Loop Cloud. What else you got going on for us? I want a particular genre, so let's go for disco. See if we got anything in disco. A minor. Okay, no, nothing in disco.
velvet glove slip into. Hold me, don't let me go. Just hold me, don't let me go.
That's a bit more like it.
Don't let me
Yeah,
go.
we're going to use that one.
Just hold
Get
me,
a proper house
hold
feeling in there. Okay, 120. That's more the right tempo anyway, so you know, let's warp it at the correct tempo. 120. Get Complex Pro. Let me know if you're enjoying this, guys. Give me a hell yeah or an amen, brother, because this is French as fuck, y'all. Yes. So we're going to use that first bit, and let's process this now. We need this sounding really big and part of this tune to kind of fit in with it. First thing we're going to do is get that sidechain compressor on there so it's bouncing. That's needs slight tweaking, slightly off time there. Just cut it, drag it. Right, okay, now let's process this. So how are we going to process it? I might use one of my magic processing things, not that it's not in Ableton Live. It's the CLA vocals by Waves. Just makes vocals sound great straight away. And again, we can add some phasing on this as well. And we want it to really pop out through the mix. So we're going to compress it. Add some EQ. Let's add some reverb to that, and I'm going to do that on the auxiliary channel. So I've got a room reverb set up on the auxiliary channel. Let's feed some of that vocal in. And with the compressor, I'm going to also put that on the auxiliary channel so that even the reverb's pumping. And I want this to pump slightly as well, the main snare. Okay, let's get some more of that phasing. I'm just going to find the phaser. Where did I put it? It is in here. Phaser. I'll put that on the vocals too. Before the EQ, I think. Okay, so now I'm actually going to add some delay to that vocal as well. I'm just kind of going off on one here, guys. Let's see. Let me know what you want me to cover, what style you want me to cover. But let's dial in some reverb for this bloke. See what he's talking about. Okay, we can see we've got some clipping here, issues here. So I'm going to take the volume of everything down slightly. I'll just grab everything, drag it down. Whoops. Drag everything down. Let's do that. I'll have to take these down as well. And I'll show you why we're about to do this. Because we have got to do some serious filtering on this bad boy. However, I want the bloke treated separately from everything else. And then we can add some of our own organ sound as well to kind of beef this up. So I'm done with Loop Cloud for now. I'll just close that. I'm not going to hold you, mate. Not my cup of tea. This is my cup of tea. It's not. I finished it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get all of this stuff together, apart from the vocals. We're going to group it. I'm going to call this fuck group. And now let's put a filter on there. and I'm just going to use the auto filter. Now check this out. We can pump the resonance up a bit. This is our breakdown, y'all. So this is kind of in the break, and you know, you can add some more processing here if you want to take out the low end, because you want the full bass to come back in on the drop. So I'm gonna just kind of get some arrangement on the go. Oh no, I know what's coming. Then we can do a bit of a Stardust if we want. So you can go, oops. You can do this. Let's automate this off. Here on the drop. Funky as hell. And then we can filter this one up. Like so. And then filters off on the drop. So it's like this. You know, and you know, to make the drop harder, you can take the volume down just before that too, even. So we're rocking something like this. Right, now I wanted to show you what would go on the master channel that's going to give it more of that gelled together vibe. So let's just loop it. And as I said, this is all about compression, this French house kind of feel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bunch of compression on there. Let's get a glue compressor, push it really quite hard. But we want it pumping, so I've got quite a sharp, slow attack and a fast release to allow the kick to kind of pop through. So this is off, and this is on. It just gives it more of that pumping feeling. Might be a tiny bit extreme. And my secret weapon that I'm going to show you before we stop is I'm going to throw a, let's see, well, we'll throw a limiter on there first. So let's get the Ableton one. Now I'm going to show you a trick that would be used by the French guys in the studio. I'm going to be throwing on an EQ, a particular EQ, and this is great. It's a PugTech EQ, and it's going to make a crazy cool difference. Wow, my screen resolution is insane. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the low end at, let's see, 300 hertz. I'm just going to boost it and see what it sounds like. Yeah, but then you can use the attenuate control and we'll take it down the same amount, and it just, yeah, creates a really nice warm feeling. You could do more stuff here. That's off. I'll do it 3. And let's boost that high end a bit as well, about 10k. I'm compressing a bit much now, so I'll turn the threshold down. So this is with no mastering on. you know, this needs more work to do it, and I'm going to do some more mixing and stuff, and then you can download it. But let's just kind of build this out into a bit of a track really quickly. Oh, don't call it that, Will. There could be kids watching. It's all right. There are no swear words here. Not today. Not in my house. Right. I'm going to push it slightly less. That filter needs to open up more. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert a bunch more time into the track, like so. I'm going to copy this, and we're going to play with that filter a bit more. So what we can do is this. Let's open up our filter group again. That's what F group stands for. Ignore those other letters, they don't mean anything. And then let's try this. You could assign this to a knob on your controller as well. Stop it. And then you can play with the knob on your controller. And I'll show you what you could do with that. In fact, I've never done this in a video before. Let's do it. I'm going to delete the automation there. I'm going to delete the automation here. I'm going to assign this to this knob, and I'm going to assign this to this knob, and I'm just going to jam along. So let's do it. Do they work? Yes, they work. All right. So it's kind of fun, especially if you got the resonance switched up as well, like a DJ mixer. Oh, that's a bit of a tune. Right, last thing I'm going to do, just because I said I would, is I'm going to show you how you can, a Rhodes organ would sound really nice on this as well. So what we are going to do is we are going to use, let's use Contact, and I'll freeze this so you can still download it even if you don't have Contact. I'll freeze this particular one. Let's use a Scarby, Rhodes, let's hear it. And because we know our track's in A minor, we can just jam using the white notes on the keyboard, or you could just draw them in the piano roll editor. And just make sure that you're applying the same kind of effect. So we get the pump compressor on there. We'll get the phaser on there as well. I should probably have set up a phaser on a auxiliary channel and sent many things to it to make sure I don't run into issues of having too many. Oops, calm yourself. So then we got that. Gives it that French feel. Yeah, pretty much it. There you go, guys. I'm gonna build this out a little bit more. I'm going to do a bit more mixing, and then you can download this project file. So there you have it, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this French house tutorial. Don't forget, you can download the project file and all the samples completely free below this video, so you can kind of pick it apart and work out what you can use in your own music. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers and happy producing.